Welcome to Off the Glass here on BBB Communications, Channel 1086. We're also on our YouTube channel, Prep Radio. I'm joined by the head coach of the Oak Ridge High School Lady Wildcats, Kevin Tubbs. Coach, it's been a while since we actually have sat here. I mean, 3 straight weeks of not doing a show because Wednesday was Christmas Eve, New Year's Eve, and now we're back doing a show here. And I know we've got some wins to talk about, and we got some special guests over here too. Let's switch over to our special guest on the left. That is Honesty Thompson. She is a junior, and we've got Avea Mitchell, who is a senior. And we'll be talking to those ladies here in a bit about the 2025-26 Lady Wildcats. Before I talk to Coach Tubbs, Coach, nothing personal, but I'm going to ask them a question. We're getting ready for the second half of the year. You've won a few games as of late. How are you feeling right now heading into this first week of January basketball? Avea?
I feel really good. I feel like our team chemistry is coming together and we're starting to find ourselves on the court.
Honesty, we're just looking forward to seeing you again. I think it was November the last time we saw you in a ball game, I think down in Cookeville. How are you feeling? I know you've been a little bit injured, but I've been hearing good things about maybe you might be coming back here pretty soon.
Yeah, I go to the doctor tomorrow. It's mentally tough, but being there cheering on the girls that were there for me, the whole injury, part of my injury just makes me feel good being on the team still. So.
Well, I'm going to come back and talk to you guys in a minute. I'm going to talk to Coach here for a second. Coach, you started out, as we said, kind of last time we were here, rough, actually. Close ball games, but didn't win a whole lot early on. As of late, I think you've won 3 out of your last 5, I believe. You won last night's game at your first district win after maybe playing the 2 best teams, maybe experience-wise in the district, the first 2 ball games. But you're starting to get it together, as Avea just said. The chemistry's coming together, and you can see that on the court. The first few games, it was kind of the Avea show basically, and now everybody else seems to be filling their roles, and that's why you're having success, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think it's we've definitely gotten better. If you go back and watch the Cookeville game, for example, it almost it's hard to watch. But it's good that we have improved that much. But I'll give all the credit to the girls. They've kept their head up. A lot of teams would have just folded and said, this is going to be a rough year. But they've stayed with it. I think Avea has actually done a really good job because, like you said, I think there's moments where she just has to carry us a little bit, and she's done that. But I think recently, and it's a little strange because her scoring has gone up, but so have her assists. So I think she's trying to get more people involved, but she's also taking probably a lot better shot choices. She had, 39 and then 34, and didn't even play in the fourth quarter. So that's pretty solid, but I'm more excited just about how they're all coming together.
Chandler, let's go ahead and roll some highlights here while we chat. First game here is against Alcoa. This is a team we traditionally play. Coach Bauman does a really good job, and had an opportunity to win this game. Just kind of let it slip away from you.
Yeah, that's kind of been our thing. We kind of come out a little flat. It's kind of our MO right now, and then we battle really hard to get back in it, and I think it really puts us at a disadvantage late in the fourth quarter because I think we're a little gassed. And it's tough because, Avea is playing, she doesn't come out very much. So I do think toward the end of the game, it's kind of a little bit harder to execute. So that's something we've been working on. And I think once we get Alani in better shape, she's getting there. And some of these younger ones keep improving. I think that's going to be big for us. But honestly, honesty is going to really, really help us. She was really good in those play day games early in the year and got hurt and has had to battle that, but I'm going to give her props too. She's stuck with it. So I'm just excited to see us be able to get the whole team on the floor at the same time.
Well, Honesty, let me ask you something here. You're in perfect shape right now. You can't wait to get out there and play the entire game, can you?
Yeah, for sure.
I'm being sarcastic, obviously. What have you been doing to get ready to maybe come back?
Well, at first I wasn't at practice. I was at practice, just not practicing. But for the past, 2 or 3 practices, I've been involved. The first practice, I wasn't really going up and down too much, but the last 2, I've been really getting at it on defense, kind of live, I'd say. Running through the plays, trying to remember everything. I've been out for almost 2 months, so it's hard to remember everything that was then, especially going to now. There's so much that's changed. So when I come back tomorrow, I just got to be focused and get ready to know what's going on.
Vale, I'll come back to you. I want to talk about your game against Alcoa, but here's I guess this is the McMinn County game from last night. This is a McMinn County team. They didn't have a whole lot of height, and you took advantage of that, as we talked about last night after the game.
Yeah, we definitely had a height advantage, and sometimes that's frustrating as a coach because I really felt like the way they were playing us, we could get an outside shot anytime we wanted to. And I think at one of the timeouts I said, would we please throw the ball inside some? We do have an advantage, but it's hard to turn down open looks. And, people like Ivea and Janae, I mean, it's hard to turn them down because they are good shooters. So it was a little bit of a, finding ourselves in that game. But I think we did have a stretch there where Alani and Evelyn did a really good job inside, and we had a good balance.
Let me ask Avea, in the Alcoa ball game, you did have 39 points, and, that's the record is set by Jada Gwynn, and you were just about 6 points off of that, so you were really close. In games like that, and you've had games like that, you've had big numbers in a lot of games this year, but you just have to feel it. What's it like out there when you know if you're going to put up a shot, it's going to go in? Is that your feeling, or what was your feeling on Friday?
I feel like I started off slow, but I did not want to lose, so I feel like I had to do something for us to win. And I feel like over the years, my confidence has went up. So every time I shoot the ball, I feel like it's going to go in. And
so do we.
Yeah.
That's kind of the way we think too. I mean, when I'm watching you, when you miss, it's like, well, what happened there? What did somebody hit her or something? But I want to talk. You have the most experience. You were like this 6th person last year, came in mainly off the bench, got a couple starts here. You were the one really, I guess Paige and Evelyn are, been with the program the whole time, but you have had to kind of take the lead, I think, with this particular group. How has that been for you to change your role as a Lady Wildcat from being a person on the bench last year, coming from a different school the year before, to be a leader this year?
I was capable of stuff like this. I just feel like I didn't have the opportunity to do it. So I feel like this year I can really show what I'm capable of.
Coach, let me ask you. You and I talked, I guess, before the season ever started on the show we did at the Pizza Inn, and you said things are going to go through Avea. Mm-hmm. And that's the way it has been. What has she brought to the table besides all the points she's been scoring?
Yeah, and I think we actually discussed it at Pizza Inn. I made the bold comment before. I don't think we'd even played a game, that I thought she was going to be the best point guard in our district, and that's a big statement. Mm-hmm. Not really knowing if she was going to be able to pull it off, but she just got a knack. She just really kind of feel for the game, and a lot of coaches, we talked about it earlier, a lot of coaches would struggle coaching Ivea. A lot of coaches feel like the game has to be played a certain way and it needs to be equal opportunity. But I've always coached kids and said, if that's her strength, we're going to ride it. We're going to ride it as far as we can. And so I'm just really proud of her. But I'm even more proud that at this point in the season, she looks like a point guard.
She does.
And that's saying a lot, because I don't really think you've played point before. So it's good to see.
Honestly, I don't want to leave you out. You haven't played in 2 months, so I wish I could talk about your stats. But I know you bring, you can shoot the ball and you can defend. Just kind of remind the people who might be watching, what are your strengths as a player? And I'm going to ask Coach the same thing.
My defense and my shooting ability is probably my biggest strengths, and just encouragement. Like, you always got to have a teammate that's always there for you, and then a teammate that's getting harsh on you. But I'm always a person that's kind of both. You got to have somebody that's out there for the younger girls that, might not have as much confidence as like Avea, for instance. So I'm just kind of there right now. But
Yeah, it must be really rough for you to have these last couple months just sit there on the bench and watch your teammates play. How do you deal with that mentally?
I just kind of wait patiently. Like, I know my time's going to come, and I know, like, I'm working towards my recovery. So I just got to kind of, like, wait patiently and cheer them on because I know they're my teammates. So they're capable of doing what I'm capable of doing as well.
Coach, what's your expectations of Honesty here the final few months of the season?
Yeah, like I said, I'm just excited to get everybody back. But I will say, like, she hasn't just been sitting there watching. She's definitely been a vocal participant during the game. She's been coaching them up. So I hear things she's saying to them, and so that just makes me excited because if she's going to tell other people to do it, that means she's going to do it when she gets out there. So I'm excited about that. But I do think her biggest attribute is honesty will be in the right spot at the right time. And I can't say that about all the players on our team. We will sometimes in the heat of the game, mentally, people get lost, but I do feel like honesty, if I tell her to go do something, she's just going to go do it. And she's going to make shots and defend. So, and that's not a knock on anybody else, but it's definitely one of her strengths.
Ladies, I'm going to come back to you and ask you, both of you are used to winning. Last year and the years, Abay, I think you were on that state championship team at Robertsville, were you not? Years ago in middle school. So you all are used to winning. When you started out this season, it had to be rough for you all to try to, but I guess their expectations, you lose every starter off of last year's team. You expect to have some growing pains. What was it like for you those first few games when things were not going real well for you?
It was really rocky. I know I was mad at Coach Tubbs a lot. I didn't trust anything he told me, but then over time it started working. I feel like we started to find our own chemistry. That's what helped us the most. I feel like even though we are losing still, we're going to find ourselves. We're going to start winning.
You're starting to play better. Honesty, you've been with the program 3 years straight now, so it had to be frustrating for you because you can't get out there and do anything. That to me would be the worst part of it.
Right.
Would you say the same thing?
Yeah, I definitely think the smaller losses like the Bearden and Cookeville loss is still kind of mentally tough and frustrating, but like the Farragut game, the Catholic game, those games are games we could have pulled away. So it's more frustrating for those knowing that they're capable of doing more than what they had out there and not being able to go out there and contribute to it is frustrating.
Avea said something, Coach, that interesting to me, and I'm going to ask you about it.
Sure.
Basically, when you take over a job, I mean, you've got players that were on the previous team, and, you come in, you're brand new, they don't know you, your philosophy's different. So, how do you kind of get into that, make them believe in you, and how long does that normally take?
Well, I think part of it was the whole team was new. I mean, when I think that first day I showed up, I think there were 6 girls that showed up in the gym that very first day, and some of them are not even with us anymore.
Okay.
Out of those 6, so it was pretty rocky, and I think everybody was in a not having a summer, waiting to hire the coach late. It made everybody nervous. I mean, I was nervous about it, and I just wanted to try to show the girls, one, that I was always going to have their back, even when they mess up, okay. Because that happens. And I think I've been able to do that. But I think a lot of it is them finding themselves. I think I don't have very many gifts as a coach, but I do think one of them is letting the players play and letting them figure things out a little bit on their own. It's not my way or the highway kind of mentality. So I think that will pay off for us in the long run. I think down the stretch, you're going to see us continue to compete.
Girls, I want to ask you something about that. One thing that I've observed about Coach Tubbs is he seems to be very patient. He is definitely in the ball games. I mean, he's in the ball games. He doesn't seem like he's just over the top, like he just said. I'm not asking you to compare previous coaches that you've had, but I just want you to. Is he different in practice as opposed to ball games? Because he looks to me very, very relaxed in ball games. Is he different in practice?
No, he's the same in practice. We were worried at first. He doesn't yell. We're used to people yelling at us.
it takes a lot.
Well, honesty here. Well, I'll ask both of you. Are you players that respond to yelling, or do you kind of shut down, or just kind of say, "Don't yell at me"? How are you as a player? Some players are different. Players respond to that kind of coaching. Others kind of shut down. I'll ask you.
Either way of coaching, whether you're relaxed or constantly yelling, I just always shake my head and say yes, because regardless, like, you're my coach. Like, I can't really control what you do or what you say or how you act. So I just respond and shake my head, because you're going to tell me what I need to do and what I don't need to do. So,
Coach, well, you don't have to answer that. As you got another district ball game coming up Friday at Ray County. We have not played down there in 25 years. It was 2000, 26 years, I guess. It was 2000 the last time we were there. The district is different. Obviously, McMinn County and Oak Ridge and Ray County are different to District 4. Mm-hmm. So this will be a new experience. And a lot of coaches say they like to play teams like this, like McMinn County, who we don't play. And Ray County is another example of that. We've played the Beardens and the Farragut's over the time, and Lenore City as well. But Ray County, tell me about Ray County.
Yeah, we had a chance to. I watched them play 3 times in person, because they were in the same tournament we were in. They've got one bigger guard that's not too bad. They've got a big post player. She's probably about 6'5". They're pretty methodical. I think they're pretty well coached, but they're very systematic. And I think we play better not systematic. I think we play better just playing sometimes. So I think it'll be a good contrast of styles. I think if we can get the game fast, we should be okay. Of course, going down there with officials that you don't normally see, right, anything can happen. But I just feel like we're in a really good place right now. I think mentally the team is I believe they believe in each other, and that's crucial for me.
Abel, let me ask you, one of the questions I've gotten a lot in the last 3 or 4 days basically is, how is Avea Mitchell not committed to play ball someplace? You have just stood out, as Coach says, maybe the best, and I'll just tell you this, I'm going to nominate you for Miss Basketball. You know, I mean, that's something. I've seen every one of your games except 2 when I was doing the boys, but you know, what's your feelings there? Are you going to go? Do you want to go on and play after high school?
Yes, most definitely. I'm just trying to find the right place right now. I know it's getting pretty close, so I'll probably have to commit somewhere pretty soon.
But I just hope people are talking to you, because I got a text message today from somebody I really don't know, who actually said, "We've got to do something for Avea. Can you make a highlight tape? Can you do this and that?" And I said, Avea's play is all she needs. The way she's played, she is putting herself out there. So I'm glad to hear that actually people are talking to you, yes, at least. Honesty, you're a junior. Do you want to continue on and play after high school?
I'd say, like, if I get the chance to, I would. And necessarily, like, if I don't, I have a plan other than that. But most definitely, if I get the opportunity, I'm going to take an opportunity.
Coach, nowadays, going to play college basketball is a lot different. You and I talked about this today, earlier in the day. It's a lot different than it was, say, just 5 years ago. I mean, especially with seniors in high school, it's a lot different now.
Yeah, I've had so many girls that I've been able to help, and of course their play got them scholarships. But right now, just about all the people that I know in Division I are waiting to see. They're not signing high school players, yeah, and I think it's really bad for high school players right now, because all the colleges are waiting to see who's going to go in the portal, right, who's going to leave, and that means they're going to come in late and try to pick these kids up, you know, out of high school. I've talked to several coaches about Avea, and things are picking up. Things are definitely picking up. There's a lot of interest right now from a lot of different people, so it's going to be fun to watch. I hope she stays patient and gets the right place for her, because it's really going to be about the best fit for her.
Avea, in honesty, if there was such thing as a time machine, would you go forward or backwards? Where would you go, and why?
You go first.
No, you go first.
That's a good question. I would probably go backwards. Wait, could I just like not change anything?
You can do whatever you want.
Yeah, I wouldn't.
It's your
change
time
anything.
machine.
I feel like everything happens for a reason, and the future. Wait. I feel like everything happens for a reason. I wouldn't change anything.
Okay. Honesty? The girls are.
Very good.
I'd probably go to the future, because I have like a lot of things that I want to get to. Like I want to travel the world, and I'd rather do that like now, but I know I can't. So I would probably go to the future.
So, Coach, we're a little bit older than them. Would you go forward or backwards?
Oh, it's definitely backwards at this point. Definitely backwards. Definitely. But I know Evea's answer about she wouldn't change anything. That's probably what makes her a good shooter, because literally, like you heard it, no regrets. Everything happens. So if I miss one, I'm just going to shoot the next one. And I think you have to have that mentality to be a scorer. But yeah, I would definitely go back in time. I'd love to be back in high school again.
Yeah, that would be fun, actually. Honesty, when you entered the building, we talked about singing. And I'm not going to ask you if you can sing, but do you have any special talents other than basketball? And what do you like to do other than basketball?
I don't have any special talents.
I'm sure you do.
Yeah. Other than basketball, probably just shop and hang out with my family and my boyfriend, probably.
Okay.
I don't really do much.
Evea?
I don't really have any special talents. I just like hanging out with my friends and, shopping.
Shopping?
Yeah.
What kind of things? If your parents were to give you like unlimited MasterCard, what would you buy? What would you buy?
I'd buy the world.
Okay. Honesty, same question.
I'd probably buy a house so I can have my own space.
Okay. Coach, you got two very similar girls over there. I've picked up on this over the last couple of years, actually, for sure. Very intelligent, very basketball-minded players, which has got to help you, in practice and in ball games.
Yeah, definitely two very strong-willed individuals. I know, I think me and Evea, I think we may have exchanged a few words during a timeout once or twice, had a little discussion on the court, and we kind of come to a semi-agreement, at that moment. But I appreciate that, because they have minds, and that's why I coach the way I coach, because they're individuals. I don't need robots. I'll go home and play Xbox if I want robots. But these young ladies have their own minds, and they are both extremely well-spoken and not scared to say what they think.
Well, I've seen Evea talk before, like last year, and that's, to me, it's the interaction. I mean, she's
Absolutely.
making her point made to you, and she's probably valid, and you have to think about it some.
Absolutely. I do take a lot of input from the girls. I mean, at the end of the day, they're on the court. I can't stop them or make them do anything, to be honest. The only thing I can control is playing time. So at the end of the day, I got to trust them. So if they understand why they're doing it and they want to do it, then it's going to be more successful than if I just want it.
You've won 3 out of the last 5 ball games. You've got the bulk of the season in front of you is mainly district ball games. Where do you see yourself at the end of the year, girls?
I see us going to state.
Okay.
Yeah.
What's it going to take to get there?
We have to be mentally strong, and we just have to continue to play as a team and not let little things get to us. And just continue to do what we're doing, stay disciplined.
Honesty. I'm going to ask you a different question. What's your favorite gym to play in besides ours? And what's your favorite team to play? I'm going to ask you the same question. But
I don't really know. I don't think I have a favorite team.
you didn't get a chance to play in the Clinton game this year.
Yeah.
There.
We didn't get to play them. Well, I don't think we will play them, but Campbell County is probably my favorite team to play. Well, I haven't really played in that games, but I think that's probably the team. The gym, I don't really know. I don't think I have a favorite gym besides ours.
Ivea?
I like playing Clinton. It's just like very physical. I love a physical game. But they probably have my least favorite gym. I don't really have a
Really?
favorite gym.
Why?
It's just so hot.
It is hot. It is most definitely hot. Obviously, you went to the Carter tournament. You finished runner-up in that. Obviously, a chance to win a championship. Can this team win a district championship in the tournament?
I 100% believe that we can.
Okay. Any shout-outs you'd like to make before we close out your all section?
You go first.
Shout out to my mom. I love you, Mom.
Shout out to my dad and our teammates. Hi, guys.
Ladies, thanks a lot for joining us here, and good luck the rest of the way.
Okay, thank you.
Coach, we got a few minutes here to talk about your basketball team. As I mentioned, Ray County. Then you've got Lenore City at home on Tuesday, and then a week from Friday, you're at Hardin Valley. So you've got 3 straight district ball games
Right.
against opponents we haven't played yet. And so what's going into that? What's your thoughts? Just work on what you do or work on what they do?
Yeah, we've been really just working on us. It's probably the least amount of scouting I've ever done. We go watch people, but we're not spending a lot of time worrying about them. We worry about us. We know the things that we have to improve in, but I would encourage everybody at our next home game to come out and watch them play. It's a fun group, and we're out of the last 5 games, I think our offensive production's gone up about 10 points per game, and our turnovers have gone down to about 14. So they're fun to watch. They battle. They do not want to lose.
Coach, just any final comments before we close it out here? Just anything at all?
Yeah, I'm just excited to see where we end up, and another shout out to Honesty. She's stuck with it, and I will agree with her on the statement she made about her teammates. They've all supported her during this.
Good.
Because it's a lonely thing to be injured and just be off to the side trying to figure out your role. But kudos to you, though. That's good. Good for you.
Ivea, I've got 2 goals for you. The single game scoring record and the single season scoring record. Jada Gwynn. And right below her is Nikki Caldwell, Nikki Fargus now, who assistant coach, played for the Lady Vols. Those are goals that you can hit. The amount of points you're scoring, I think you can do it. So,
And I will add, because I really even hate to say it, because I know how Ivea's brain works, I think. She is very, very close to scoring 500 points. And I would not be surprised if she gets that this next game. But I'm not going to tell you how many you need, because I know how your brain works a little bit. But you just keep playing the way you're playing, you're going to get it. But 500 points is pretty spectacular. So,
Coach, thanks a lot.
yes, sir.
Going to take a break here, and when we come back, we'll be speaking to Coach Aaron Green. He'll be talking about the boys' team. We'll be back to Off the Glass in a moment.
I enjoy living and raising a family in East Tennessee because it's always been home to me. One thing that makes Fox Insurance Group stand out from other agencies is our customer service. Insurance, a lot of times, for a lot of people, is not something they really like to deal with, so I like to be there for them and help them through the process. It makes me feel good when I know my customer can rely on me and trust me. Yes, I'm very excited Fox Insurance Group is now an independent agency. It opens up so many doors for our customers and the agency as a whole, and we're going to be there for you when you need us the most.
Who are you not to be uncommon? Who are you not to be 1 in a million? 100 million? Your day job is what you do, but it doesn't define you. In a world of common, it might. But you? You were born to do uncommon things with the time you've been given. When's the last time Common fought a wildfire? Or brought a town back from the dark? Or stood against a rising flood? Common doesn't do that. Uncommon does that. And here, where uncommon lives are shaped, is where history will find you. A few weeks a year, and you'll discover the most uncommon time of your life.
When something happens to your car, you might say,
Ugh, come on, seriously?
This is so extra.
but what you could say is,
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
your local State Farm agents are available to help you online, over the phone, or in person. State Farm agents are here to help answer your questions and help you file your claim.
This is so extra.
Get with someone who can actually help. Contact me, Agent Laura Lynn Green, today.
This is Melvin Jackson, inviting you to experience mouth-watering, slow-smoke barbecue that hits every spot every time. Fats Barbecue is now open in Oak Ridge at 366 East Tennessee Avenue. Stop by our brand new storefront or catch our award-winning food truck on the move. For over 30 years, our award-winning barbecue has been a staple in the East Tennessee. Perfectly smoked meats, hearty sides, and then that down-home flavor you love. Planning an event, we cater weddings, parties, and more. Call 865-421-3287. Fats Barbecue, where every guest is family. Follow the smoke, find the flavor.
Welcome back once again to Off the Glass. You see this helmet here, Coach? Gary Johns gave the show that helmet, and I haven't really been able to say his name many times. I know it's not a football show, but Gary Johns gave this helmet to us, and I appreciate that. It's better than that C back there.
Yeah, I like the helmet, actually.
Coach, you know what the C I'm talking about. Yeah. Let's talk basketball here. Your basketball team coming off of actually 3 straight wins. Is that the longest streak this year? I mean,
I think so.
Yeah. So you've been playing in the game you lost, the Page ball game. You had an opportunity to win that. So one thing that Coach Tubbs and I were talking about is you can see the improvement. Obviously, taking the Oliver Springs game out, they were a little overmatched. But the Bearden and Cookville games, the improvement that your team has made since those 2 ball games for sure is dramatic, in my opinion. I mean, you're winning ball games, you're playing better, you're spreading it around. You're a much better team than you were then.
Yeah, no doubt. I think I mentioned it on the radio post game last night. I think starting the year we had some inexperience. I think the best way to get better is experience. And I think that's probably the biggest factor of us playing better. And then also. Playing good teams, playing a tough schedule makes you better. You're probably not going to get much better if you're playing weaker teams and teams you should beat all the time. And sometimes I think that can make you worse, really, actually, because you can pick up some bad habits. So those 2 factors alone, just to name a few. Obviously, Ethan James, last year at this time, he wouldn't even look to shoot a 3, and now I'm trying to hope he shoots more of them. It's crazy from a year to now. And obviously, Justice West is from the time we started the season. Obviously, didn't play last year, a junior. He's only a sophomore, junior now. But, what the strides he's made from the time we started till now. Those are just 2 guards. Obviously, Jarrell's playing a lot better. A little bit rusty when he first got here with football. That's normal. Eli's gotten better. J2's gotten better. Louis gotten better. Who have I left out? I think they've all gotten better.
Yeah.
If I've left somebody out, I'm sorry. But so yeah, we have improved, but I think as a coach, you're constantly trying to, we watched tape today and on our game clips from McMinn and trying to find ways just to get a little bit better. We could have played a lot better in the second half. I thought we took some really bad shots in the third quarter, didn't defend how we needed to defend, how we did the first half, start the third quarter. So still a lot of improving to do. It's like we always talk about. What do you got to do to beat the best teams on your schedule, the best teams in your area, the best teams in your region? And we've got a lot of improvement, still a lot of improving to do to be able to, hopefully get to that point.
Coach, we're going to show some highlights from Alcoa and McMinn County, but let's go back farther. I know the last time we spoke, obviously with Christmas Eve, New Year's Eve, we haven't done any shows when there's a lot of games have taken place since that time. I mean, I did the players only show the last time we did a show, and that's been running for the last 3 weeks. So, so I deliberately didn't talk about games that show. We just talked, actually. But you went to the 5-star preps tournament. Obviously, one thing that was kind of disappointing, I think, honestly, you played Sevier County. and Fulton. Fulton's on your schedule. We played Sevier County in the sub-state last year. We played them in the regular season the last 2 or 3 years. So that's a team that we, basically very familiar with, play a lot. The only team that you really don't play much is Catholic, and that's a private school. So those 3 games probably were not the same as playing AC Reynolds out of North Carolina the year before and the others. But, they were good teams. I mean, but you had to play Fulton on their home floor and such. But,
Yeah, and I wasn't, I think that's one of the reasons we travel. I know even before I got here in 2010, you guys, Oak Ridge has typically traveled to Christmas or Thanksgiving tournaments. Obviously, we've been to the Bahamas several times out of the country. And that's kind of why I don't like. That's why I like to travel, is because you don't play the same teams you're going to see during region or just local teams that you played all the time during the summer. I mean, so I was kind of obviously, not bad-mouthing anybody. I was kind of under the impression that we were still going to have out of area teams, and then obviously the schedule comes out and it's not the case. But playing private schools, everybody's kind of got their own, thoughts on that, but. But it was okay. It was good competition, obviously. Sevier County's good, Fulton's good, Catholic's really good, so that was a positive. And then, I just real quick on all 3 of those games. I didn't think we played. Probably the Sevier County game was probably the worst we played over the last 6 or 7. Well, 8. We played 6, 3 before, 3 after Christmas, and we played Alcoa. So I guess 8 games. That was the one I look back on and think, yeah, we didn't play very well. That's probably the least. Counting the 7 after that. So Fulton we won, and we battled Catholic, had them was up at half, and ended up losing by 10. Then we go to Nashville, and then Alcoa and Maine County. So it was a long stretch of games. Actually, it's the first time in a long time I was not able to actually clip every game, because I always self-scout every game. I mean, it was just back to back to back. I took some time off for Christmas, and I kind of got so far behind. I was like, well, we've played so many games, it's hard to kind of recap. So started back today with Alcoa and McMinn County to get back on our normal routine of, self-scouting and watching our clips and kids watching clips. And I think that's been a part of one of the ways we've been able to improve year to year. And, as the season goes along, is film study.
Well, just last week we played 4 ball games. I mean, the only day you had off was New Year's Day.
Yeah.
I mean, you played Whites Creek, the first ball game, beat them, very athletic team, really good team. And then the second day you played Page, and could have won that ball game on their home floor. And then Ravenwood. You played 3 really quality, different kind of teams down there.
Yeah, it was. All 3 teams are different. Whites Creek, very athletic. Our defense was really good. They had a hard time scoring. I think we held them to 8 at half or something like that, or 13, or it was pretty low scoring. And then Page, well-coached team. We played them here last year in a good game. Here, they were really good. They lost a lot of seniors as well. I remember we got down 10 or 12 and then come back and had a chance to cut it to 2 or something pretty late. And then I remember the Raven. Obviously, I told you on the radio. It's kind of satisfying as a coach when you just get drilled by somebody in the summer. We played Ravenwood over there, and it was actually in Memphis at the BCAT. I think it was actually at Ravenwood School, and it was a good old butt whooping, as a country boy would say. And to come back, and obviously we're missing some guys, and that type of deal, and obviously we're coming off a state championship appearance, so everybody we played this summer was it was like the NBA championship,
right?
Game 7 when they're playing us. So to turn around and beat them during the season was gratifying. And I thought we did some good things that game as well.
Your athletic director is calling me right now. Hey, Coach, Coach Green and I are on the air right now doing our show, and I just put you on the air. Can I talk to you later? Do you have something you want me to ask Coach?
Ask him what the plan is to win at Ray County Friday night. Win is a must.
Okay, Coach, I'm going to let you go. I'll ask him that.
What do we got to do to win? What do we got to do to win at Ray County?
That's what he wanted to know.
Probably a good question. We'll get to that, I'm sure, right?
Right.
But no, we'll get to that.
Yeah. Then you played Alcoa, and we've got some highlights for that. We'll talk under that. Chandler, if you go ahead and start these. This is an Alcoa team that's good. I mean, a very good basketball program. They've got some great players, and you got a chance to play at home. And your thoughts there?
Yeah, they were kind of in the same boat we were, David. They'd played 3 straight days in Nashville, just like we have, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. They were they were off Thursday. Then here we go play Friday. Of course, they played on the road. We played at home. So they kind of, they'd lost several in a row, but they had played. I know we'd played a tough schedule, but they'd played a really tough schedule. They'd played Maryville twice in that stretch, Catholic, and then they played Brentwood Academy.
Wow.
And I think Chattanooga Prep. I mean, so those are all state championship level teams. So they'd lost 4 or 5 in a row. I think they come in limping a little bit. Obviously, well coached. Coach Collins does a great job, and I thought we did a really good job defensively, and we got it going offensively. Made some shots, and found a way to beat a good team. There's Charlie making a step back.
Yeah, one of the things that you and I talked about this after the ball game is I think, correct me if I'm wrong here, you had 5 in double figures that particular ball game, and you had 4 last night too. So at first, as I was talking to the girls, it was the Avea Mitchell show on the girls' side of things, and the boys it was the Charlie Tobenheim show. But that's not the way it is now.
Yeah, and I think obviously Charlie's he's our leading scorer. I don't think there's any surprise to that, and he should be our leading scorer. I mean, he's putting a lot of time. He's our only returning starter from last year, but we got other guys that can score. And obviously the last 2 games we've had pretty good balance, which I'll talk a lot about balance. Obviously here's Darrell. Early in the year he was not making that shot.
No.
That was a miss, and he's getting where he's making those. And I think that's just kind of getting the rust off. Here's another one that he drove and finished. That's a tough play against a really good athletic defender. And again, same thing here with Ethan. Here's another example. We were not making that shot a month ago, and I don't know how our created a turnover, great pass by Justice, and we're just getting better. I think experience is the biggest part. We're working on some of those things a little bit more in practice. I think is helping, but we hadn't had a ton of practice to do a lot of it. But I think we took 4 charges this game, something our teams got good at. I know you asked me about that on the air the other night. So great find there by Eli to get Charlie for an open look. And
I don't know how he made that shot. He looked like he was out of control the whole time, and then he put it in.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes those have those nights, but yeah, I mean, Justice is, it's come a long way. I don't remember which game it was. He did not play for sickness. Was it Fulton or Sevier County? It may have been Fulton. Well, he was sick Fulton. It may have been Catholic.
I think it was. Yeah.
So, but yeah, I mean, great win. Alcoa. I mean, they beat Catholic. They, like I said, their losses are all to really good teams. They turned around and beat Greenville last night.
There's Charlie again. Charlie is approaching 100 career threes, past 500 points in his career. And we've talked about Charlie. His role has just changed so much this year, and he's just adapted to it fine.
Yeah, and he's earned it. I mean, he works his tail off. We had a shorter practice day film, and he was last one out of the gym again today, and there's a reason they go in. There's a reason he's, shooting it well. And it's funny you say 100. I don't talk a lot about my playing days. My career made threes at Tennessee. I've made 99 in my career.
Wow.
I once, really looked much stats, but it's like, man, I made one more and I'd had 100. But yeah, he's shooting it well. I was looking at some stats today. He's averaging, right at 20, right at 8 rebounds, shooting 43% from 3, which is really, really, really good.
Yes. Close to record setting for us.
Yeah, it's really, really good. So, got great numbers. So he's, and again, he puts the time in, and it shows.
Here's the McMinn County game played last night, which was your second district win.
Yeah, great. And again, McMinn County's got a really good team, David. They're 12-3. You saw some glimpses of that there in the third quarter when I think they had.
I got nervous, Coach.
Yeah,
I'll be honest with you.
Me and you both. I mean, they're a good team. I knew it wasn't going to be easy. They got there's Justice with a great finish. I was waiting for him to show his athleticism at some point. But yeah, I mean, they're missing 2 guards they were injured, so they're a little bit outmanned or a little bit shorthanded, I guess is the word to use. But they're good, well coached. I knew they wasn't going to quit, and had it to 6, and we made enough shots there to stretch it back out.
It got crazy physical in the third quarter. I mean, you can look at Eli's tooth for that. I mean, you got a chipped tooth, and it got crazy physical, and it was almost like, I know you've been in physical games before, but it was kind of like a shock, actually, I thought.
Yeah, and I think that's probably a little bit of a result of their coach kind of probably ripping some tail at halftime and challenging them. And, it's McMinn County, too. I mean, I grew up down that way. I mean, typically they've got some competitors and got a little grit to them. So they come out fighting and was more aggressive than we were there in the third quarter and played a lot. I thought they played harder than we did. And therefore, usually that some things don't go your way when that usually happens. But here's another three. I mean, we made shots there. I guess start of the fourth quarter, we made enough shots to finish. And here's Mir with his first bucket. He'll have a lot of those over his career, freshman. Excited about his future. But a heck of a win, David. McMinn County was, like I said, 12-3. I think they were 1-1 in district play. They beat Hardin Valley at home and lost at Lenore City, who's got a good team as well. So, but a good win. That was not going to be an easy one for sure.
Coach, tell me about Mir. Tell me about him.
Yeah, Mir was, Mir transferred back from Powell. His brother was there. I think the main reason he went there was he went to Robertsville last year. So I feel like he's one of our kids anyway. Mm-hmm. So glad to have him back, and very athletic. He's, any freshman in our program is going to be behind just because they, obviously a freshman, but he's a little bit more behind because he didn't get here till December. So. Mm-hmm. But he's making strides in practice. I told him, I was like, hey, just keep trying to learn the offense. And he's, still trying to figure that out a little bit. But he's athletic enough where you can just saw that one play. He's athletic enough. He's, he played some DB, I think, for Powell. So he's strong, got a little grit to him, what you like. And our staff loves him. I love him. He's got a lot of good qualities. He's, good. He's very athletic. He's skilled. He's strong. He's got a little. I like guys that are gritty and kind of hard-nosed, kind of how I was, and he's got a little bit of that too. What some people call that some dog in him, and he's got that. I like him a lot. He's gonna be a good player.
Coach, his last name is Porter. Is he related to the Porters that have come through?
Oh,
here?
I'm sure. I don't know the details on that, but I'm sure.
Yeah, I mean we've had some really good Porters come through here.
Yeah, we have.
So, Coach, I was thinking about something when you were talking about the grit and such, and certain teams have that. Your team. Traditionally at Oak Ridge, our guys have all been nice. I mean, we have really nice guys. How do you get them to play at the same kind of, kind of they just started getting after it. And our guys can do that, but how do you do that?
Yeah, I think a lot of it's culture. I think a lot of it is just how you prepare, how you practice. What's your as a coach, what are the things you're emphasizing? We emphasize more than anything is playing hard, being the most aggressive team, being physical. Those are the things we're always emphasizing as a coaching staff. So I think that's part of it. But I think to be whatever sport it is, I think most coaches will tell you they enjoy coaching those guys that are competitors. They just, whatever it is, when there's the game or there's something to win, or they're just going to compete at a high level. They hate losing. Got a little bit of stubbornness to them, probably in some cases. Not all players are that way, but our guys know. I mean, if they don't play hard, they're coming out. If they don't play hard, they're not going to play. I mean, that's really a non-negotiable. We don't coach that. It's kind of an odd statement, but I'll tell them from the very get-go. After 16 years, we don't coach effort. We don't coach attitude. If that's something we're having to deal with, you're not going to play. So we generally haven't dealt with that. So I think that's part of it. But I think to win at a high level, you got to have some grit, and you got to have a little toughness, and you got to have that kind of that hard-nosed mentality.
Coach, how do you coach this team differently than the team a year ago? Are you coaching these guys? You played for the state championship. You lost 4 starters. You lost a great group of kids. How do you coach differently this year?
That's a good question. I think last year's team was a lot more experienced. This year's team is obviously not near of experience. So we're doing a lot more fundamental stuff than we probably did last year in practice. We're doing, for example, we'll do a layup series where, we've been struggling to make layups, so we do more layups, and we have a series we always do. We didn't probably do that as much during season with that team last year. I can probably add a little bit more. Last year I added a lot more offensive sets and stuff because they could handle it. I got a lot of guys that have been in our program for 2 or 3 years. So, and we have a lot of stuff in, but I'd say our offensive scheme and what we have in was a little bit more complex last year than it is this year. Because we had Ray and what he brought to the table, and we had bigs, we ran more stuff for Ray and a point guard, and we run more stuff to throw it inside, whereas this year we're not running as much ball screen stuff and not running as much stuff to throw it inside, even though we do some to Charlie and Eli, but, more spacing, more perimeter stuff than we have the year before. So just some little wrinkles that are different. Your same core stuff is defending and rebounding, taking care of the ball, all those things, but I think that would probably be the main differences.
I thought last year, you had a lot of good leaders on the team. I think obviously it started with Ray. I mean, Ray ran the show out on the floor. You're the leader of the team, but he was the leader on the floor, basically. This year, you've got a kind of a different kind of personalities from your guys. Charlie's not really what you call a talker. Mm-hmm. Who is the leader of this team?
Well, I think it's our two seniors. I think, like today we had a faculty meeting, so we were going to go short today anyway. So instead of them having to wait around on me, I texted Charlie and Adrell and said, here, you guys handle the shooting drills. Here's some things to do, in the first 30 minutes before we get there. So if we can knock this out, we'll watch film and go home. So, trust them to do that. And when I got down to the gym, of course, my dad was there too. But when I got down there, they were shooting and working. And, as soon as I got down, we went and watched film. Was out pretty much an hour. But I think, everybody leads in a different, you don't always have to be vocal to lead. Sometimes you can lead by example, depending on. But Charlie and Darrell coming back from football, he's not around us as much, and you can feel him starting to take a little bit more of that role. You can see, I've noticed more and more as the season's going on, Charlie's, a little bit more vocal with his leadership as far as, let's go during a timeout if he struggled defensively or whatever it is. But I think it starts with definitely your two seniors.
You got Ray County, and Coach wants me to, talk about that. Then you've got Lenore City, which is a home game, which my schedule, all along I've been thinking, so anyway, but that's a home game on Tuesday, and I want to emphasize that because I've just kind of been hammering, it's away, but it's at home. And then a week from Friday, you have another district game against Hardin Valley. So that'll close out, I think, all of the teams that you haven't played already. But Ray County first, and then on Tuesday, as I mentioned, you got Lenore City at home.
So today we spent all on us. We had hadn't watched tape and self-scout our stuff since before Christmas because we played so many games. So we spent watch McMinn County clips. I'll have the Alcoa game clip for them to come watch their clips individually. I'll actually get 2 games under my belt for Ray County tonight. I've taken a peek and looked at their schedule and kind of do the normal stuff I do early. Lost at Farragut. Actually, Halston Lane called me today, and they played Farragut. Lost at Farragut. I think it ended up 23. I think it's a little bit closer than that early. I think they're, a little bit below 500. But yeah, they've played some games. You look at their schedule, they've played some games kind of close, and and then there's some games they've lost. So, I think my biggest struggle is driving all the way to Ray County. It's
Highway 27 is a nice drive at least.
Yeah, no doubt. But, I've got a lot of experience playing Ray County because when I was at Cleveland from 2000 2007, they were in our district. Mm-hmm. So I played now in their old gym. And actually one year, I don't know if it was 06 or somewhere right around there, 2006, they made the state tournament and had a kid that had something happen. He ended up having to transfer to Ray County, a really good player, and they ended up making a state tournament that year. Got some friends down that way. That's close to Sweetwater. Getting closer to Sweetwater, David. You start getting around Ray County, McMinn County. That's right down there toward Watts Bar Lake. Do some fishing down that way. So, again, we'll at this level, you're not gonna have any gimmies. So we gotta be ready to play.
First time I remember watching you coach was in the old round gym at Cleveland, not the one they play in now. And I remember you had a kid that went to Dayton. Was it Dayton?
Charles Little.
Okay. What happened to him?
Yeah, Charles Little was probably one of the most athletic kids I've ever coached. I tell the story all the time. In the region semifinals, David, we were playing Red Bank. That's when they were AAA. I think they're smaller now. But they had a kid that was 6'10", about 240, big old post. And Charles, in that game, Charles was about a 6'5", 6'6" athlete, ended up playing at the University of Dayton. He had 49 points and 29 rebounds in that game.
Wow.
And missed like 8 free throws.
Wow.
It was one of the wildest. I remember I had a kid on the bench. Charles was at the free throw line. The game was still close enough. And one of my kids on the bench said, "Charles, if you make this, he's shooting, you got 50. I chewed that player out. I can't remember which player it was. I was worry about trying to win the game. He's over here trying to make sure he gets 50. I was hot. I remember that. But yeah, crazy. It's crazy things you remember.
Speaking of 50 points. Did you see that Bryson Maddox scored 57 the other night against Harriman? That's a crazy number.
I did see
That's a
that.
crazy number.
Broke the school record.
Yeah, I mean,
good
that's,
for him.
I mean, we haven't anybody even come close to that. I mean, Jalen Henderson, I think, might have scored 50 or something.
Lonnie McClanahan.
Lonnie, that's who I was thinking, Lonnie McClanahan.
30 or
actually.
40 against Campbell County.
Campbell County, yeah.
Triple overtime
It was
or something.
yes, it was. And they had a guy that scored almost 50 points in
Yeah.
that game, too.
Yeah.
Coach, we got a little less than 3 minutes to go. As I mentioned, you got Lenore City, Hardin Valley. How do you see the district right now? We'll get a chance to see all of them, and we'll talk about that later. But how do you see the district playing out right now?
Yeah, honestly, I think obviously we still got Ray County, Lenore City, and Hardin Valley, who we haven't seen yet. But just looking at scores and stuff, I mean, Hardin Valley lost to Bearden by 7 or 8. I mean, I think anybody can beat anybody. I think Bearden is kind of in a tier. If you're being honest, they're in a tier by themselves. I mean, they're 18-1. So I think below that, I mean, honestly, from us to McMinn, to Ray County, to Farragut, to Hardin Valley, Lenore City beat McMinn. So, I think it's going to be an interesting finish here. I mean, there's a lot on the line. Top 2 teams get to the region.
Mm-hmm.
That's big. District tournament's at McMinn County. So as a
Is
coach,
it McMinn or Ray?
McMinn County.
Okay, it's not at Ray.
So you're automatically, I know my first thought last night, don't want to play them on their home floor, in a postseason game. So, but yeah, I think it's pretty. It's a tough league, and I think it'll be interesting to see how it unfolds. I think there'll be some teams win some games you don't think they should, may not win, and there'll be some upsets, and it'll be a tough stretch here.
But you've won 3 in a row here. You're playing your best ball, I think, right now.
Yeah, we are. We just got to continue to get better, and again, just watching tape today, there's a lot of room for improvement. We're taking care of the ball better. We're not missing as many easy ones. You're going to miss some easy ones. We've improved that probably the most, and I think that's probably been the difference in us winning.
Coach Chandler's giving me the warning sign here, so just any final comments?
Yeah, I know I heard Coach Tubbs talk